Joining us now from Parents Defending Education, Erika Sanzi. Erika, it's great to see you. Okay, it's good to have you on. The parental rights group, Moms for Liberty, turning into a political juggernaut. They're now in nearly 4 states. But we've got far-left media attacking them. The Nation describes Mom for Liberty as hateful fascist bigots. The New Republic said the group has created nightmares for schools, and the group was accused of getting book bans in school libraries for books like The Scarlet Letter and Paradise Lost, that they're classics being banned. What do you think?
I think that this is predictable because for so long, parents have sort of sat on the sidelines, and so school districts and school boards were not used to scrutiny. And what has happened is that with the combination of COVID, where parents were upset that their children were locked out of schools, that their faces were covered with masks, and as school was sort of beamed into their kitchens and their living rooms over the computer, they realized that much of what was happening in the schools was ideological in nature. It sounded like activism. It sounded like there was no longer a free exchange of ideas. They felt that topics that were inappropriate for young children had become a focus, and they're speaking out. And it doesn't surprise me that people are smearing them and calling them terrible names, because they don't want to admit that this is a very sort of organic uprising of parents from all over the country.
But what about the book bans, though?
Nobody's banning books. What has happened is that you and I, when we hear banned, we think that that would mean you didn't have access to it. But what these groups are doing is redefining the word. So what they're saying is that if a book is in the K-5 section of the library and it gets moved to the middle school section, they're calling that a ban. What they've started doing is they've started using the word ban as a synonym for restriction. And we can all agree that the same books that belong in a high school library are very likely inappropriate for an elementary school library. Yeah, you don't want a third grader reading The Scarlet Letter or Paradise Lost. They wouldn't understand it. So this is about age-appropriate books. But watch what, Erika, sit tight. What they're not talking about is sexualized content for 7 or 8-year-olds. Watch how misleading MSNBC is on that, leaving that part of the story out. And what you just explained, it's not book bans. They're moving content to high school appropriate, students. Watch this.
Because as benign as Moms for Liberty may sound, its agenda is unmistakably extreme. For instance, you may not know that Moms for Liberty has been helping to lead the movement in pulling books from the library shelves, including classics like The Bluest Eye, great book, The Kite Runner, amazing book, and Mouse, as well as other books that deal with race, diversity, and sexuality. The group has turned school board meetings into unruly shouting matches.
This is misleading America. Explain it. Why? Why are they misleading? There's no mention here of sexualized books for 7 or 8-year-olds, elementary kids who shouldn't read it. That's what MSNBC routinely leaves out. Go ahead. And they're not banning books. Again, they're moving books to high schoolers. Take it on.
So Jen Psaki needs to understand that one of the reasons why Moms for Liberty and other parent groups like ours have caught fire is because of how sick everyone is of people like her. Because she's dishonest, she's condescending, and she never seems to have any respect for a difference of opinion. She is not telling the truth. The most challenged book right now is called Gender Queer. It is a graphic novel in 2 senses of the word. Number one, it's like a comic book. So it's a graphic novel because it's all illustrations, then with thought bubbles that have words. That book is very, very sexually explicit. So much so that when I've discussed it on TV and radio, I've been told that I can't actually say what is in the illustrations.
Got it. Okay.
So for her to pretend that we're talking about classics that suddenly a group of parents wants to get out of the schools is absurd. It's dishonest. And I think people are waking up to the fact that they're lying about this.
No one is Education Week is reporting no one's signing up for the Teachers Union Community Outreach Group for Parents. They expected more than 6,000 to be signed up by the end of this fiscal year. Only 150 signed up. That's an average 3 parents per state. Watch former President Trump and what's going on in schools.
After 50 years of leftist domination of the universities, I will take bold action to reclaim our colleges from the communist left. Anti-American radicals will no longer be given a free hand to dominate our institutions. of higher education. We are going to choke off the money to schools that aid the Marxist assault on our American heritage and on Western civilization itself. The days of subsidizing communist indoctrination in our colleges will soon be over. To smash the Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucracies that are driving up tuition costs and sticking you with crushing debt.
You got 10 seconds. Your take.
I mean, much of what he's saying there is correct. It is the first time in a long time that people have been fighting back and said, you're not going to brainwash our children with our money.
Got it. Erika Sanzi, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.